The story I'm going to tell you today is called Jody's Daddy is a Garbage Man. It's funny how you can always tell when somebody's laughing behind your back. Jody hadn't really heard anything, maybe a whisper, but when she turned around, the girls in the back row of the class were looking at her, trying to hide smiles and giggles. She looked back at her teacher. He wanted to find out what his students wanted to be when they grew up. He called on Billy first. "My daddy works in a bank," Billy said. "I guess I want to work in a bank too. There's lots of money in the bank." "My parents live in a grocery store," Emmy said. "Papa's behind the counter and Mama keeps the cash register, but I want to be a pilot." The teacher was about to call on Jody when the girls in the back row burst out laughing. Shirley yelled, "Jody's daddy is a garbage man, P.U." Everybody in the class laughed out loud. Everybody except Jody, that is. She felt her face turn bright red. She looked around the whole classroom, and everyone was laughing. Jody looked at Mr. Swales. He was angry, and he almost never raised his voice, but he did now. "Silence! I want everybody quiet this instant." The laughter stopped immediately. "You should be ashamed of yourselves. Being a garbage man is a difficult and important job. We should all be grateful to Mr. Harris. Where would we be without him? Up to our ears in garbage? That's where. How would you like that?" "Pew-wee," somebody said, and a few kids started giggling again. "It's not funny," Mr. Swales went on. "Garbage is a serious matter. I think you all owe Jody an apology. And after that, you're all going to write Jody's father a nice letter to tell him how you appreciate what he does." Everyone said, "Sorry, Jody." But Jody could tell they didn't really mean it. She also knew nobody wanted to write her father a letter. So Mr. Swales came to her desk and patted her on her shoulder. "Let's go out in the hall while everyone's writing those letters so we can talk in private." Jody started crying out in the hall. She didn't want to cry in front of everybody, but she couldn't hold back any more. "I'm so sorry this happened," Mr. Swales said. "But remember, hard work done well is something to be proud of. There's nothing wrong with being a garbage man." Later that day, Jody's father came to walk her home from school as usual. She didn't run up to him the way she always did. When they were up in their apartment, Jody went to her little room and cried for a long time, and her father must have heard. He came to her room and knocked. "What happened, Jody? Why are you so sad?" Her father then sat on the bed and put his hand on her shoulder. "It's okay, sweetie. You can tell me. You can tell me everything. But you don't have to tell me if it's a secret. Is it a secret?" "It's not a secret. The other kids laugh at me because you're a garbage man. They said your job was dirty and you smelled bad. They said I smelled bad too." "Well then," he said, "I guess those kids just don't know how much fun it is to be a garbage man." And for some reason, this made Jody start crying even more. Her father hugged her tight. "Tell me honestly, Jody, do I smell bad?" Jody sniffed. "You smell good, like laundry soap." "Come on, Jody, you can tell your old garbage man daddy he stinks." Jody smiled. "I mean it. You smell nice. You always smell nice." Jody's mother yelled dinner was ready. "Tell you what, Jody, tomorrow's Saturday, but as you know, sometimes I work on Saturdays. So go to bed extra early tonight, and tomorrow you'll come to work with me. I want you to see what your garbage man daddy does." "We'll get breakfast on the way to work, too," her father said. The garbage truck depot wasn't far away. The place really didn't smell too good. Jody wrinkled her nose. "Don't worry, kid. You'll get used to it. In a few minutes you won't smell a thing. Your nose is so smart, it knows when to turn itself off." Jody's father handed her a thick pair of gloves. "We are going to ride in the back today, Jody. The thing to remember is, hold on tight." The truck stopped. Jody and her daddy jumped off. On the curb was a big pile of plastic bags, full, and of metal garbage cans with lids barely on. "I'll get the big stuff, Jody. You get the little plastic bags and throw them in the truck hard as you can." Jody then helped put the garbage cans back where they belonged. Then she and her daddy grabbed the iron rails on the back as the truck took off. Picking up garbage and throwing it in the truck was fun, but also hard work. Jody's arms got tired. That's when her daddy said, "Time for lunch." "Wash your hands extra carefully, Jody," her daddy said. Jody had a cheeseburger and a vanilla milkshake. She thought it was fun to eat lunch at 10 o'clock in the morning. "Time to hit the dump," she yelled. The garbage dump was huge. You could smell it from a mile away. They drove through a gate. Jody wondered why there was a fence. Who steals garbage? Seagulls flew all over the dump. They screamed and fought. They found stuff to eat at the garbage dump. The fence couldn't keep them away. Jody got to sit in the driver's seat, and her dad showed her which buttons to press, and the back of the truck rose until the garbage spilled out. "Now comes the best part of the job, Jody. While almost everyone is still working, I get to go home, clean myself up, and then I get to come pick you up at school every day. That's mainly why I like being a garbage man so much." Jody gave her smelly garbage man daddy a big kiss. She said, "When I grow up, I want to be a garbage man too, just like you." Jody's daddy said, "There's plenty of time to decide, Jody. We can talk about it later." Now, whenever someone asks Jody what her daddy does for a living, she probably says, "He's a garbage man." And if they say, "Ew," she says, "Everybody makes garbage, but my daddy takes it all away."